tonight.
Unlike past efforts at galvanizing Nigerians for patriotism, for love of the country,
NOA galvanizes support for public participation in governance, urges citizens to focus on positive values for national development.
Lost a short illness, brief illness, and we lost him early hours of today.
Sunset on former Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Ogbonnaya Onu. President Tinubu, political colleagues and friends mourn the former Abia State governor. Also tonight, day 2 of Id-el-Fitr celebration. Muslim communities across the country step up festivities.
My people should continue to discharge and exhibit that kind of qualities of peaceful coexistence.
Hello, good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jumma Yusuf. Reading with me tonight from Lagos is Hingino John Adams, while Benny Adams is here in our Abuja studio with the business news. Eid Mubarak. Here's a reminder that you can follow us live on our website nta.ng/live, NTA News Now on X, as well as other platforms displayed on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us. It was actually 2 weeks ago that Christians worldwide celebrated Easter, a significant spiritual experience that lies at the center of the Christian faith. And now Muslims are in the thick of their own deeply reflective and spiritually edifying experience. This one commemorating the successful completion of the Ramadan, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. As a nation with deeply religious people, conversations on how the spiritual transcend into the physical, whether in lifestyle, choices, behavior, or conduct, have often been part of national discourse. This has again been brought to the fore in President Tinubu's 2024 Id-el-Fitr message, calling on Nigerians to collectively work towards national development. Now let's bring in Pastor Gabriel Akintoye Aboderin of Christ Apostolic Church, Medea Regional Headquarters Area 1, Garki, Abuja, and Dr. Dawood Yakub, Chief Imam Unguwar Nasarawa Community, Buhari, Abuja. Gentlemen, you're welcome to NTA Network News.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In life, we're often confronted with the national question as to why spiritual prescriptions and benefits are not easily transformed into expansive national gains. Now, why is it that in spite of all that our various faiths preach and teach, we're constantly inundated with stories and deeds of man's inhumanities in our communities? I need both of your opinions on this issue. Maybe I'll begin with the Imam. Let's get your take on that.
Good evening. The national development or national building is a collective responsibility of the entire citizens. Taking into consideration the Islamic teachings, in the glorious Quran, Quran chapter 5, verse 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, help one another in righteousness and piety, and do not help one another in sinful acts and transgression. In view of this, for a nation to be properly built, there is a need for collective responsibility, for collective struggle, and for collective dedication. In a situation whereby just few individuals are trying to build the nation and other group of people are trying to destroy it, there is no way we have a complete building. Building a nation requires working together as a team. It requires unity and cooperation. It requires dedication and patriotism. And this is what is expected from every one of us as a citizen of this nation. It is a duty expected of the leaders and as well as the followers. So the leader has his own duty, he has his own contribution in making sure that the nation is well built, is well developed, and at the same time the followers also need to carry out certain assignments in order to support the leader.
Indeed, in a conversation earlier today, one of my guests on Good Morning Nigeria said that we should not be talking about religious tolerance. We should be talking about religious cooperation, bringing us together as one to attempt at least to make it our country livable, across religious lines. And this critical issue is a deliberate attempt to tilt ideological beliefs to fit certain narratives and targets within the marketplace of religion in Nigeria. Now, this situation is unfortunately being weaponized within Nigeria's socio-political area, and like we now describe as ethnic politics. Are there indeed some positive intersections within religion, citizenship and patriotism that we should push to the front burner, particularly now in Nigeria? Reverend, I think you agree with me on that.
Thank you very much. It is unfortunate that religion that should be the platform to promote unity in our country has left the society polarized along religious and ethnic line. However, to follow up with the question that you have raised, I think Nigeria is blessed with various shades of faith that can be harnessed towards uniting the citizen for the purpose of promoting the progress and development of our nation. I think hope is not lost completely. So I feel that our religious body are now awakened to their responsibility. So the responsibility of gathering our people together, rallying our people together around the government of the day. You are going to agree with me with that instead of a people agitating for another election, waiting for another election cycle, so people are united in supporting this government that is the current government that is in place. And so religion should be a platform where citizens are united together to promote cohesion in the country and progress.
Yes, indeed. In 30 seconds, Imam Yakub, the people have said that we need to re-educate ourselves on the importance of religion, because we just can't keep religion out of politics. This generation that are coming up now, do they need a total reorientation on religious values and our orientation and how they should live their lives?
Yes, there is need for that a total awareness. There is need for educating citizens, the Muslim as well as the Christians, because education is the light, is the power, is the instrument through which every desire or a goal of a nation can be achieved. Without education, in fact, many things will not go in the right direction, because with education, when we know that this is my right and this is my responsibility, this is what I should do, this is what I should not do, this is what it takes to develop my nation, to develop my community, and to make my society a better place to live. And these are the things that, if done, it will actually hamper and hinder the development and the goal of the growth of the nation, which every one of us actually need.
Yes, which every one of us actually need. Pastor Abodori, the pulpit has been used in so many ways to cause chaos in this country, especially through the social media. What do you think should be done?
I think the right thing to do, especially at this time in our national life, is to begin to have a new orientation. So in regards to the role the religion should play in the development of our nation, we can borrow a leaf from the nation of Israel. The problem with the Israel and the Palestinian is not on religion basis. It is on the ownership of the land. And so, if they are coexisting, religion in Israel, people are allowed to practice what they believe. Muslims are practicing their religion as well as Judaists. And so we can borrow a little from that. And so using a pulpit to cause chaos is not native to one particular faith. No. So it cut across a faith.
Across all the faiths,
so,
yes.
And if we have a rethink about the role religion should play in the national development, I think Nigeria is going to be better for it.
Indeed, we need a reorientation of our value system in the country. Yes, Pastor Gabriel Akintoye, a bordering of Christ Apostolic Church, headquarters area 1, Garki, Abuja. Thank you so much for coming on Network News. And Dr. Dawood Yakub, Chief Imam, Ungwan Nasarawa Community, Buhari, Abuja. It's been a pleasure having you and your insight into the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, in the meantime, the National Orientation Agency is galvanizing Nigerians to always engage in activities that promote unity in Nigeria and that are capable of transforming the country for good. The Director General of the agency, Larry Issa Onino, also reiterates the agency's commitment towards mobilizing Nigerians to key into the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He stated this in an exclusive interview with NTA's Shola Wahid in Ilorin.
National Orientation Agency is evolving new strategies to better engage citizens to key into government policies and programs.
Unlike past efforts at galvanizing Nigerians for patriotism, for love of the country, the effort had always been on the citizens. But this time around, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says no. The country has a responsibility towards the citizen. And then the citizen also have that responsibility towards the country.
The Director General stressed that the youths who are the future of the nation are being given priority through all-encompassing projects, crime and lawlessness, health and hygiene, environment, education, abuse and narcotics.
We want to create institutions to nurture Nigerians. Not just the youth, but including especially people in government, to ensure that they all abide by the values charter. So that's why we need to take back to school what we call citizenship study, which will be compulsory from primary school through secondary school through university.
Malam Larry Unilu stressed that NOA is poised to living up to expectation through its weekly journal, The Explainer, and other media outlets designed to bring government closer to the people. In Ilorin, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
The statement of commitment from NNPC Limited on gas delivery in larger quantity to the local and international markets is raising controversy, and Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC, Mele Kyari, gave the assurance when he visited President Bola Tinubu in Lagos. State House correspondent Rosaud Anwahab reports that a Nigerian entrepreneur, Abdul Samad Rabiu, was among the visitors.
Salah homage to the president continues at his Lagos residence. And beyond the Salah, the visitors, including some chief executives, also came reassuring the Nigerian leader of an encouraging indications on the government's policies and targets.
His focus on delivering gas into our markets, both domestic and international market, bringing back prosperity to our country, is right on course, and this is a task that will be delivered, and very many obvious things will unfold in the coming weeks.
The consistent improvement in Naira value in the last few weeks continues to elicit commendations, and the GCEO of NNPC believes the petroleum sector will continue to make positive impact on the strength of the local currency.
Majority of our exports from this country is petroleum as of today that can earn foreign currency. There's significant improvement in the markets in terms of pricing, and also we're able to establish some level of stability in our project. The combination of this is bringing additional resources available to our country. And of course, more than anything, there are clear monetary and fiscal policies that the president and this government has put in place that is working, and that is bringing about all the changes that you are seeing in the currency market.
By the time the Naira went to 2,000 Naira to $1, some of us say we're already in Zimbabwe. And once you get to Zimbabwe, it's so difficult to get out. But we are beginning to see a central bank that has devised very effective tools to quietly manage the system in a way that the Naira is beginning to appreciate at finance level. I share my confidence with him that I am beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and so the renewed hope is working.
A business tycoon, Abdul Samad Rabiu, also commended the government on various efforts yielding results on the economy, assuring of private sector support to the administration.
Things are taking shape. The government has done very well. This is the first time, I think, in many, many years that we have seen the dollar exchange rate has converged. There is no official and there is no black market. There is only one rate. So we must commend the government for actually being able to achieve that. We all need to come together and support the government, support their policies. The government means well, clearly, and they are trying to support Nigeria, but we need to be patient. These reforms take time, without a doubt. It's not easy. It's not something that can be done in one day. So we are working together with the government, especially now that the president has established this committee between the government and the private sector. So we are working together. We are supporting each other. We are advising the government, and the government is listening. That is very, very important. The fact that the government is listening, means so much, to the private sector, and I think we'll get, to the desired land.
More guests are expected to visit the president in the coming days. In Lagos, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
We'll take our first break. There's so much more when we return. Don't go away. You're welcome back. The former Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, is dead. Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, who announced his death on behalf of the family, said he passed on in the early hours of Thursday at the age of 73. Justin Bem-Onyi was earlier today at the residence of the deceased and files in this report.
Register opened. Some of the family members and friends expressed their feelings and shock about the demise of the late minister.
We are in a very deep sorrow. The family has lost one of the pathfinders of this nation. The family has also lost his first son. Okay? He is the very first son of the family of late David Abaonu Ezaduwan of Uburu.
It's a very huge loss to the family, to Southeast, to Nigeria as a country.
Justin Bem-Onyi, NTA.
In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has extended his deepest condolences to the Onu family. The president describes the deceased as a luminous star in Nigeria's political firmament, recognizing his role as the first civilian governor of Abia State, former Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, a principal draftsman in the founding of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and a valiant partner in the victory of the party in the 2015 elections. The president says late Ogbonnaya Onu lived the life of an accomplished scholar and as a first-class engineer was a man of proven integrity, defiant to indiscipline and ever yielding to the highest standards of rectitude. The president also condoles with friends and associates of Chief Onu, Ebonyi and Abia State governments and all Nigerians grieving this gaping loss. President Tinubu prays to God to grant repose to the soul of a man he describes as a great leader. Now, by the federal government to shore up components of the Deep Blue project aimed at enhancing the nation's maritime security and capacity in line with the best global practices. On this issue of safety on the inland waterways, some recent marine accidents have raised concerns on good governance, structure and institutionalized policies for improved maritime safety and security. To talk about that, we are now being joined by Engineer Dakio Hosfall, Acting General Manager, Marine Services, National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA. Thanks for joining us. We also have Dr. Shehu Usman Gidado, maritime expert, National Institute of Transport Technology, Zaria, is also joining us via Zoom to speak on the importance of marine safety procedures, especially within our inland waterways. Thank you both for joining us. Now, let's begin with Engineer Hosfall. I am sure you've heard about the sad incident which occurred in Anambra State only yesterday, and that of the Lagos Lagoon as well. That of Anambra particularly raises the fundamental issues of non-adherence to maritime safety measures. What exactly does NIWA do to enforce adherence to safety procedures, and why is it that tax seemingly is so difficult for NIWA to expansively enforce?
As one of the options, and the second one is 70-20 10.
Can you hear me?
Headquarter gets state chapter gets 30. And so
okay, Dr. Gidado, I need to come to you. There are issues of incompetent. I do apologize. There seems to be a problem with the network issue of the Zoom. We'll join you later. We'll join them after this break. Don't go away. Thanks for joining us, and let's quickly return to messages tripping in over the death of Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu as President Muhammadu Buhari joins family members of the deceased and entire nation in mourning the demise of a notable politician, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, the first civilian governor of Abia State and former Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation under his administration. Reacting to the news of the death of the former chairman of the All Nigeria People's Party, ANPP, a party that once fielded him as a presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari said the nation had lost one of its most outstanding scientific minds and intellectual, saying he was an intellectual giant. He condoles with his family, the government and people of Abia State and the country at large. Let's quickly return to our interview on maritime safety, and we have experts joining us via Zoom, and I believe Dr. Gidado is there.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening. And
okay, Dr. Gidado, how integral is monitoring as a safety component in safeguarding our inland waterways, whether we are talking of public and private jetties along major waterways, and how seriously are these issues? Let's have your take.
Okay, I think the whole thing about safety measures on the waterways in Nigeria today is all about trying to get away from the fact that boat mishaps has been incessant in Nigeria. And we should be able to remove that word incessant going around our waterways operations. But first of all, some of the important safety and security measures we need to adopt at the moment revolves around, first of all, sensitization and enlightenment of all stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders, I mean regulators, operators, and users of the service particularly. So when it comes to issue of regulatory mechanism, we have to look at who is to regulate and what is he doing. And then where to do that enforcement of these regulations is very important. Not just that, also when do we regulate safety on our waterways, because we have limited period of operation. We all understand that there shouldn't be night operations. So we have barely from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the maximum time for operations along our waterways. So it's very important to observe this. Then also, when it comes to issue of the boats and the jetties, there should be appropriate architecture and design for the kind of boats we use. In fact, I declare almost 80% of the boats used on our waterways today as obsolete, out of design, and not appropriate with the architecture of our waterways today. So in this regard, we have to observe the most important procedures for observing this safety on the waterways. First of all, we observe the loading time. It shouldn't be beyond that. No night sailing. Number two, we have to inspect the boats before even they are loaded, to make sure they are worthy to move on the waterways. And then third, we have to ensure that the loading is done according to capacity of the boats, no overloading. Then most of all, every passenger loaded on board on these boats must wear a life jacket, and there should be regulatory officers right there at the jetties ensuring that every passenger is on life jacket. That is very important. Floatability is a basic thing about water transportation. So also, there should be a concerted effort by these regulators to also inspect the routes along which these watercrafts pass all the time. But most importantly, the jetties must be up to date to do that.
Yes, yes.
Because we have rickety
Engineer
jetties, we
Gidado.
have unauthorized jetties, and these are the kind of things that bring all this. You don't load from everywhere. Standardization must be put in place as to determine which jetty should load, which one should not load. And if a jetty is found to have deficient infrastructure that can ensure safe loading, it should not be allowed, or it must be rectified before loading should take place on such jetties.
Engineer Gidado, you know, experts are also saying that, you know, what is NIWA doing about that, about enforcement? And on many forums, NIWA has said that it has been enforcing, you know, the laws of the inland waterways, and they have been getting results. But unfortunately, it is the people that is the problem. Engineer Hosford, let's have your views on that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. On the issue of enforcement, I want to assure you that NIWA is doing her very best to enforce safety regulations at all jetties. But we have a challenge. You know, we have limited staffs and we are understaffed, and we cannot be on all jetties at all time to be able to do some enforcement. So what we did was to have an arrangement with the boat union for them to help enforce these safety protocols at the jetties. You know, enforcing, and we also feel it's easier for them to do that because most of those boat drivers are their own members of such unions. But unfortunately, we find in most situations that these enforcement are not, these unions do not, you know, do adequate enforcement, you know.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Hosford, for coming on Network News. Dr. Gidado, we also appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much. We'll be going to Lagos now, where Hingino is standing by with more reports from that zone. Hello, Hingino.
The federal government will always welcome with open arms all developmental interventions from Nigerians in diaspora. These were the words of the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike to members of Association of Nigerian Physicians in Americas, ANPA, who informed the commission of their non-profit medical intervention, which will soon kick off in the country. Lanre Belay has details.
These are representatives of Association of Nigerian Physicians in Americas, AMPA, informing Nigeria in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM Chairman Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa about their plan to give back to the country. The doctors who specialize in different medical fields said apart from catering to health needs of Nigerians during their medical mission, they were engaged in an interdisciplinary training collaboration with medical professionals in the country to encourage transfer of knowledge from both sides geared towards elevating healthcare delivery in the country.
You have the people who are delivering the care locally, and then the diaspora doctors coming in internationally, coming together and sitting and comparing notes and talking about what they've done, research, effective systems, effective care delivery programs. So we learn from each other.
Primary health care delivery, which is actually the main bread and butter of medicine. Prevention is not just better, it's actually cheaper than cure. What's the cost of a human life? You understand? I mean, immunizations, vaccinations, primary preventions.
NIDCOM chairman Abike Dabiri-Erewa, while expressing the willingness of President Tinubu-led administration to work with Nigerians in diaspora, described the medical mission as a development that renews the hope of Nigerians.
Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora always come back to give back to the society that made them, and they always appreciate that, and we're grateful particularly to the medical practitioners, doctors, nurses, pharmacists. They always come back to give. And you know another interesting thing, they are building hospitals here. I can count 10.
The medical mission is expected to cover 5,000 patients with 200 to 300 surgeries, and will address health issues such as infant and neonatal mortality, dental, mental health, cardiovascular diseases, colonoscopy, and prostate cancer. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
Players in the energy sector have described the technical removal of subsidy in electricity as a right step that will lead to expected turnaround, especially in the production and distribution of power if properly monitored. Other stakeholders, however, called for caution in implementation to guard against impeding present economic trajectory. Bolaji Akim in this report takes a look at the tariff increment for consumers on Band A feeder.
Electricity tariff for Band A consumers from 68 naira to 225 naira per kilowatt has continued to generate various reactions. Some energy experts believe the step is long overdue, as the present undervalue of energy sector is negatively affecting power generation, with the country currently producing 30% of its production capacity.
It's not that people are not ready and not willing to pay for this power. It's the availability that we should concentrate on. And I think that's the area that the government need to work on in such a way that they will provide the electricity. Because the alternative are not cheap. They are not cheaper either. So if you provide it, people are ready to pay, then put in the monitoring mechanism.
For Comrade Bala Zakar, a public affairs analyst, the technical removal of electricity subsidy, now that the country's economy is facing challenges, will affect many.
The economy is prostrate. The economy of Nigeria is not in green today.
Experts in energy sector are of the opinion that proper implementation and monitoring of both generating and distribution companies will give consumers value for their money.
What punitive measure will you give to whoever that refuse to deliver the 20 hours promise? Those are things that we need to now ask. And that's why I'm saying, let us remove subsidy. We will not take them on their toe to say, look, you promised to deliver 20 hours. I'm not getting 20 hours. Is there a way I will know through my meter that I'm not enjoying my 20 hours and I'll be able to get reimbursed or compensated for that lack of delivery? Or is somebody being punished for it?
Players in the sector are calling for adequate provision of prepaid meters for electricity consumers, which they said will bring an end to wastage and theft of energy. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
That's it from here. It's now back to you, Jummai.
Thank you, Hingino, and welcome back to Abuja. Governor Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State is promising that his administration will continue to execute people-oriented projects that meet the yearnings and aspiration of the people. He made the promise while on Salah homage to the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
Governor Ahmed Aliyu Sokoto was in company of members of the State Executive Council, special advisors, Senator representing Sokoto North, Aliyu Magatakar Dawamako, and Minister of State for Water and Sanitation, Bello Muhammad Goranyu. The governor said his administration is working hard to take Sokoto to greater heights. He said very soon, youths and women empowerment programs will be unveiled as government is deeply concerned about the rate of poverty. He hinted that a program geared towards attitudinal change and empowerment among youths will be organized. He said government will come up with a mass wedding program for the benefit of less privileged widows, divorcees, and even youths. The governor commended Sultan of Sokoto for his contributions towards the prosperous Sokoto state and Nigeria as a whole. Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar lauded Sokoto State Governor for his laudable programs within the shortest possible time. He specifically commended the state government's Ramadan feeding program and palliatives, which have positively impacted on the lives of the people, especially the vulnerable. He urged government functionaries to continue to advise the governor appropriately. The Sultan charged leaders at all levels to see leadership as a challenge to improve the lives of the people. In Sokoto, Zainab Said Abdul Nasser, NTA News.
And in Plateau State, one of the local government areas which has a dominant population of Muslims is Kanam. The exciting nature of this year's Id-el-Fitr celebration in Dengue, the city center of Kanam, is therefore not a surprise as the town came alive with citizens from all walks of life converging on the city. Caleb Kochen has the report.
They are a people knitted by common lineage, peaceful and industrious. These are the people of Kanam, who are predominantly farmers. They have tarried for 30 days, devoid of the usual pleasures of life, but hopeful of its happy ending, knowing that their supplications would be answered by the Almighty. Leading the prayers on this auspicious occasion is the chief imam of Kanam, Abba Sani. A carnival of some sort followed shortly after the prayers, where the emir on a horse ride went round town, acknowledging greetings from the people. It was indeed a thrilling experience, but not without some admonition from the emir, Dr. Mohammed Muazu Muhammadu, who advised the subjects to love one another, avoid unguided utterances, obey constituted authorities, and get back to the farms for survival. Some sons of the soil, say Kanam, will continue to be a reference point to all those who seek for peaceful coexistence and self-reliance.
My people should continue to discharge and exhibit that kind of qualities of peaceful coexistence, the qualities of being brothers keepers, irrespective of your faith, irrespective of state and country you are coming from.
Most of our leaders, they have provided their constituents with a kind of food items, and that eased the suffering of people.
It was fantastic. It started well and it ended well. Alhamdulillah. I enjoyed them to bring heads together to cooperate with the government.
You can as well plan a vacation to Kanam to savour the next edition of Id-el-Fitr. Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
For more on Id-el-Fitr celebration across the country, let's join Ruth Agwele.
Id-el-Fitr may have come and gone, but Muslims are admonished to imbibe the virtues obtained during the month of Ramadan beyond the celebration. In Mina, Dauda Muhammad reports that messages of love and peaceful coexistence by keeping faith alive in the face of the present economic realities were sermons delivered by chief imams of Mina, Bidda and Kantongura in Niger State to commemorate the Id-el-Fitr.
We are calling on all Muslims faithful to continue to imbibe the culture and the message of Ramadan. That means to be very selfless, to help their neighbors, to be God-fearing, to care for the needy.
I hope Nigerians will abide by the tenets of Islam and also be each other's keepers. And also, during this period, we see the maintenance of peace.
There are certain things we need to put in place, and that is consciousness to Almighty God, fear of God, truth and justice, to ourselves, to all our people. Unity among ourselves and unity in whatever we are doing.
In Enugu, Chinenye Nwonye reports that Muslim faithful were encouraged to reflect on the season and have total submission to Allah, as well as to His command of sacrifice and service to humanity.
They should use the significance of the month and extend a heart of fellowship, togetherness.
This celebration is the celebration of peace, love, unity, and oneness.
In Kogi State, Ayodele Igbigbemi reports that Muslim faithful in Ayingba, the Kina local government area and its environs were advised to sustain the purification the holy month of Ramadan brings even after the Id-el-Fitr celebration with total dedication to prayers and submission to the will of Allah.
God has been hearing us and pray to Almighty God to continue to guide our people, our leaders.
All what is bound, all what is forbidden, all what is haram in the month of Ramadan is equally forbidden in every other month of the year. There is no any month that Almighty Allah legalizes us to do an illegal something or to misbehave or to commit sin.
In Aba, Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports that Chief Imam Abbas Central Mosque Idris Bashir enjoins Muslim Ummah to be deliberate in their submissions to Allah while promoting peaceful coexistence for the prosperity of the nation.
It doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter who you are, if you are a Christian, a pagan, whatever we have, we share together.
Compassion, love, and act of giving is expected to resonate even as the celebration of the Id-el-Fitr winds down. Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Time now to join Benny on Business News. Hello, Benny.
Thank you, Jumai. And talking business, Nigeria is set to join Cameroon, Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Tunisia on Africa's biggest trading platform, the African Continental Free Trade Area. Stakeholders speak on how economic growth through regional integration can reduce poverty, cut inequality, and foster the inclusive development pillars of the African Union's Agenda 2063.
It's a good news that we are making this move, but most importantly, we must be ready to put useful infrastructure in place, rail, and most importantly, road, and beyond all of those, skill-based education is the way to go. China, that is how it started. Now the rest of the world started saying that the labor in China is relatively cheaper than what's obtainable in Europe and in America.
And a quick look at the energy market. Oil prices held steady on Thursday after gaining $1 a barrel in the prior session as investors braced for a worsening of the Middle East crisis, potentially involving Iran, the third largest oil producer in OPEC. Brent crude futures advanced by 4 cents to $90.52 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 2 cents at $86.24 a barrel. Both contracts rose more than 1% in the prior session after 3 sons of a Hamas leader were killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza, feeding worries that ceasefire talks between the two sides might stall earlier this week. Israel and Hamas began a fresh round of ceasefire talks in their more than 6-month-old Gaza war, but those talks have not yielded any agreement. Well, that is business news. Network news continues, but after this break, do stay with us.
Welcome back. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says the 2024 UTME notification slip, which shows candidates the date, venue and time of the examination, is now ready for printing. A statement by JAMB's Head of Public Affairs, Fabian Benjamin, urges registered candidates for the 2024 UTME scheduled to commence on Friday, 19th April 2024 to print their notification slips before the examination date by visiting the JAMB website. And the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control has recalled Benelin pediatric serum following recent toxicity findings on the product. The agency, which disclosed these on its website, said laboratory analysis showed that it contained an unacceptably high level of diethylene glycol and was found to cause acute oral toxicity in laboratory animals, saying it has directed that the drug be recalled, as a notice will also be uploaded to the WHO Global Surveillance and Monitoring System. NAFDAC says the drug was manufactured in May 2021 and it is to expire this month, April 2024, imploring importers, distributors and retailers and consumers to exercise vigilance to avoid the importation, distribution, sale and use of substandard, contaminated, regulated products, while calling on all Nigerians to obtain medical products from only authorized, licensed suppliers. And on that note, that's NTA Network News for now. Thank you so much for watching. I am Jumma Yusuf.